Hey everyone, so in this video I'm going to cover screen fade and level loading for the GDXR VR template. So if we open up our GDXR VR character, you'll see in the event graph on the far right hand side that we have this section here. And what this does is it controls our screen fade, so fading into our level and then fading out to a solid color, where we then load our level itself. So what we're doing here is, as a basics, we call an event load interface from an actor or a button or something else. We set our level to load, and then we call our screen fade. So in this case, it fires event display screen fade. So it sets visibility for a mesh, which is a plane, which is just in front of the camera, so it's as low poly as possible. And then we manually control a material using a dynamic material instance, which animates over time. And then once that finishes, we get the level to load, and then we load that level. So this open level fires this function here, which in this case, I've got it set up as a bind, so you can do it from other places. But in reality, you don't really, don't worry about that. But that's the order that it goes in. So we call our event load, we display our screen fade. Once screen fade's finished loading or finished playing, we then fire our open level. So we have an example of how to call this inside of our level. So snap to location example. Realize these are the wrong way around. Browse to asset, so load level pad. And in here you see that because we're using a blueprint interface, we don't have to cast to our player. So we don't have to worry about keeping that reference. We get our player character, and then we say load new level, and then we just literally tell it what level to load. So that is all you need if you were to set up a new loading. So you'd get player character, and then call load new level, and then you can fire this, and it'll play the screen fade, and at this screen fade ends, it'll then load the level for you from the player, which is super easy and makes it a lot easier to use. And then finally, because we're using a dynamic material instance, what I've done is I've set up a variable inside of our data asset character variables right at the bottom here that allows you to change the fade color. So let's say we set this to something like pink. Hit save, and then we jump in. You'll see that it actually fades in from that solid color. And then if we move over to our pad and we touch it, we fade to a solid color, we load the new level, and then we unfade, and then when we load back in, we also unfade. So it works as a nice transition. And so I don't forget, what I'll do is I'll set this back to black because it works quite nice. And I'll show you how we fade in. So the fade in is actually controlled just by the begin play of the player itself. So once the player spawns, we do our initial setup for inputs and controllers, and then we remove the screen fade. So we just call remove screen fade. So this way you don't have to have level blueprints telling the player when to fade in or start. It just kind of handles it all by itself. So I hope that helps for this one. If you're interested in playing around with the project, or you want to download it before it goes on the marketplace for a little bit more price, so you get it cheaper right now, then make sure to head over to Patreon. You can download it for $5. And then you can tell me what I need to add or what I could change or improve. So every little helps. And a big thank you to Patreons who are already supporting this. It's allowed me to put in a lot more time recently and add a lot more features and content. So yeah, until the next tutorial, stay safe and I'll see you then.